The child embodies our ultimate vision, that every Filipino learner will realize their full potential and ultimately reach their biggest dreams, no matter how high, no matter how hard, through quality education. And as our learners aim to soar, we must continue to elevate our goals. Rising, the kite is our emblem of aspiration to deliver the brand of quality in Philippine basic education. The quadrants of the soaring kite symbolize the key reform areas in forwarding this cause, as we embark on this aggressive reform to yield upskilled teachers, well-developed curriculum, improved learning environment, and responsive multi-stakeholder cooperation. Using the colors of our flag, the logo symbolizes our unity and serves as a reminder that it takes a nation to educate a child. Together, we as a nation will have to move forward and gain more momentum so that our vision of quality basic education for all shall take flight. Sama-sama sa pagsulong ng edukalidad.
Well, hello, Mrs. Morgan. Remember how hard it was to get your students' attention? Oh, Mr. Jeski, any explosive ideas? And you, Mr. Fisher, the world keeps turning, right? Okay, we're past all that, because now we have Microsoft Educator Center. Trainings, courses, webinars, programs, badges, points, certificates. Join now and get yourself ready for the new school year. Teach your best.
Nang sumiklab ang giyera sa Marawi, maraming buhay at kabuhayan ang nawala. Maraming kabahayan at paaralan ang napinsala. Sa kabila ng matinding suliranin, naging matagumpay ang DepEd na mabigyan ang mga mag-aaral ng pagkakataong ipagpatuloy ang edukasyon at muling bumangon sa sitwasyon. Habang naghihintay sa pagkumpuni at pagsasaayos ng mga paaralan, nagkaloob ang DepEd ng mga temporary learning shelters, remedial classes, learning kits, at feeding programs para sa mga displaced learners. Nabigla ang lahat sa pag-alboruto ng Bulkang Taal. Libo-libong pamilya, kabilang ang mga guro at mag-aaral, ang nawalan ng tirahan at mga ari-arian. Mabilis ang naging tugon ng DepEd upang makapagpatuloy sa pag-aaral ang mga apektadong mag-aaral. Sinikap ng mga guro na turuan ang mga mag-aaral na pansamantalang tumuloy sa evacuation center. Tumama sa bansa ang COVID-19 pandemic, dahilan upang maantala ang normal na daloy ng pamumuhay at trabaho sa lahat ng sektor, kabilang na ang kagawaran ng edukasyon. Nang ipatupad ang Luzon lockdown, inilunsad ang DepEd Commons upang tuloy ang pagkatuto ng mga learners habang nasa bahay. Sa kabila ng mabigat na hamon sa ilalim ng new normal, patuloy na nagpunyagi ang DepEd upang maghanap at maghatid ng mga alternatibong pamamaraan upang magpatuloy ang edukasyon sa pinakaligtas at pinakaangkop na paraan. Sa ilalim ng Learning Continuity Plan, layunin ng DepEd na magpatuloy ang edukasyon nang hindi nakokompromiso ang kapakanan at kalusugan ng mga guro at mag-aaral. Isusulong ng DepEd ang tatlong pangunahing layunin: angkop na proteksyon, kaugnay ng mga health standards at safety protocols para sa ligtas na school year, patuloy na edukasyon sa pamamagitan ng blended learning, distance learning at homeschooling na angkop sa kapasidad ng bawat mag-aaral, at mabisang aksyon sa pakikipagtulungan sa lokal na pamahalaan at mga partner organizations upang maihatid ang dekalidad na edukasyon para sa lahat. Bawat DepEd division ay bumuo rin ng sarili nilang Learning Continuity Plan upang gabayan ang mga guro, mga magulang at mga mag-aaral sa bagong pamamaraan ng pag-aaral gamit ang online, modular at TV and radio-based instructions. Gamit ang iba't ibang learning modalities, nagdaos ng dry run ang mga paaralan sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa, katuwang ang mga local government units at mga education partners upang maging handa sa bagong sistema ng edukasyon. Isinagawa rin ang mga pagsasanay at oryentasyon sa mga magulang upang maging epektibong katuwang sa pag-aaral ng kanilang mga anak. Sa anumang hamon o sitwasyon, handa ang DepEd. Handang kumilos, handang tumugon, at handang magserbisyo.
Ang dami ng mga pagsusubok at challenges ang naharap at napagtagumpayan ng ating Department of Education. Tuwing may pagsusubok, priority palagi natin ang ating learners at ang ating mga teachers sa tulong ng parents at saka partners at ang buong bansa. Ngayon, sa hinaharap natin itong new normal na sinasabi nila, matatag ang ating kagawaran, matatag ang DepEd, dahil pinagtibay na tayo ng panahon, kayang-kaya natin ito sa tulong ninyo.
G'day everyone, I'm Mark. As a teacher and a former principal, I know that professional learning often comes at the end of a very long day. But there are exciting, less structured ways to be in the driver's seat of your own lifelong learning. A great place to start is by engaging with our Microsoft Innovative Educator, or MIE, community. This global community is big, in fact it's enormous. Our MIEs love connecting. Monthly tweet meets are global gatherings of inspiring educators around big topics, and their Facebook group acts as a persistent home for discussions and shared activities. Another way teachers are learning within communities is through Microsoft Teams. Now, greater teacher collaboration improves teaching across schools, and Teams is the ultimate platform for a professional learning community. It's open-walled and socially embedded, so you can incorporate your OneNote Staff Notebook PLC and have access to all the goodness of video chat, phone, and collaboration tools. With Immersive Reader built in, it's inclusive and accessible on any device. Your learning community is just a click away. Last tip, our Microsoft Education Centre offers great ways to gain new skills with courses tailored uniquely to your needs. Make it a collaborative experience by picking a MEC course to do together with your peers. And as a bonus, you can practice collaborative learning by exploring a research paper like the Class of 2030, and treat it just like a book club with your colleagues face-to-face or in Teams. The link to that research, it's in the description. Remember, learning is socially embedded. It's best done together for students and for teachers. Happy learning.
2020 brought new beginnings for the Department of Education. Ready to pivot towards attaining quality education, DepEd was hopeful of the challenges ahead of it. But as DepEd continued to work on its commitment, the world suddenly faced a steeper dilemma. Around the globe, countries like the Philippines had to shift their priorities to respond to a public health crisis brought by COVID-19. Schools had to be closed, activities had to be halted, graduation ceremonies had to be canceled, as people were urged to stay at home. A new normal dawned upon us. As soon as DepEd realized the impact of these disruptions in education, it began to proactively craft its learning continuity plan last April to ensure that learning opportunities will still be available. Consulting with partners and advisors through the Education Forum, as well as legislators, teachers, parents, learners, and the general public, DepEd made sure its LCP encompasses the concerns of the whole education sector in responding to the crisis. Its topmost priority being the protection of the health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, and personnel. To make informed decisions, DepEd first analyzed relevant data and epidemiological picture for the incoming school year. DepEd also issued guidelines on its required health standards to be adopted in all public and private schools and DepEd offices following DOH and IATF protocols. It covers 4 COVID-19 mitigation objectives, namely, to increase physical and mental resilience, reduce transmission, reduce contact, and reduce duration of infection. The LCP also outlined how learning continuity will be ensured. It streamlines the K-12 curriculum into the most essential learning competencies and allows the use of distance learning, homeschooling, and blended learning modalities. Since conducting face-to-face classes will be a risk in most areas, DepEd has anchored its delivery of education to modular, online, TV and radio, or a combination of all. Guided by teachers, modular learning will allow learners to use self-learning modules in a format applicable to learners' capacity. In online distance learning, teachers will facilitate and engage learners' participation through the internet, whether synchronous or asynchronous. TV and radio-based instructions, on the other hand, are converted lessons fit for the broadcast medium. The LCP assures that all our learners, including our SPED, ALS, Madrasa students, can still access education even within the confines of their homes, and ensures that their household capacity will not hinder their right to education. To make this possible, our joint Brigada Eskwela and Oplan Balik Eskwela is assisting the preparations for the rollout of the LCP. On May 8, the LCP was approved by the IATF. The President also gave it his full support and expressed his commitment to meeting the financial demands of its execution. The implementation of the LCP will not be easy. It is not a perfect plan, and complications can be expected along the way. But extraordinary times call for extraordinary and proactive measures, and the Department of Education is ready to address the challenges along the way with the help of our national and local government, partners, parents, and learners. As one nation, learning opportunities shall be available in this brave new world for our Filipino children.
When you need the focus to be on you and not whatever that guy's doing, open Teams.
subukan mo! Total nawasak na naman namin ang lahat ng ari-arian nyo!
Sa totoong buhay, totoo ang pinsala ng giyera. Mula noon hanggang ngayon. Para limitahan ang kalupitan ng giyera, nagkaisa ang mga bansa 70 taon na ang nakalipas upang itaguyod ang Geneva Conventions. Ang Geneva Conventions ay kinikilala ng buong mundo bilang bahagi ng international humanitarian law na nagtatakda ng mga patakaran ng giyera o the rules of war. Ayon dito, huwag gawing target ang mga sibilyan at kanilang mga ari-arian. Tratuhin sa makataong paraan ang mga nabilanggo at protektahan ng mga doktor, nurse at mga ospital para paglingkuran ang mga sugatan at may sakit saan man panig sila nagmula. Alamin ang Geneva Conventions. Bisitahin ang www.therulesofwar.org.
Hi guys! So I just came from a meeting and I was just told that I would be leading this fundraising concert for International Students Day. And I have to present the plan to the school board next week. Okay, I'm going to need some help. Let me create a team space and invite my dream team. Sia, she knows all about the budgeting and stuff. Ivan, he knows all the kids from the performing arts group. Aisha, she worked on getting sponsorship last year. And Sam, because he's so cute. Let me lay out all tasks in Planner and kick things off. So, I'm almost done with my event concept and inspiration board. I just need Ivan to do some final tweaks and plug in the repertoire. Budget from Sia? Check. Sponsorship plan? Check. Done! Whew! When you start using Microsoft Teams, teamwork really does become easier. So now I'm heading over to present the plan to the school board. Wish me luck!
De Luna,
Present!
Herrera,
Present!
Valera,
Present!
Handa ba tayo sa school year 2020?
Present!
Ngayong taon, ang edukasyon tuloy pa rin. Sa tulong ng DepEd, mga guro at mga magulang, ang handang isip, handa bukas. Tuloy-tuloy ang pag-aaral. May mga modules para sa iba't ibang antas. Sa government TV, maging sa radyo. Mahalagang ligtas ang ating mga estudyante at guro. Kaya kahit nasa bahay, tuloy ang edukasyon. Kung tulong-tulong, may paraan, may aralan. Handang isip, handa bukas. Bisitahin ang DepEd Philippines sa Facebook at ang deped.gov.ph.
if you spend more time tracking down files than actually working on them, open Teams.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought unprecedented changes to our usual ways of living. But the Department of Education remains unfazed by these challenges to fulfill the mission of Sulong Edu Kalidad, the rallying call for national effort to deliver quality basic education to all Filipinos, which involve aggressive reforms in the 4 key areas: the K-12 curriculum review and update, improving the learning environment, teachers upskilling and reskilling, and engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration to move forward together as we prepare the education system for the future. The call for Sulong Edu Kalidad will continue, and we have built the framework of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or the BELCP, to put the needs of the learners at top priority. DepEd's BELCP is the major response and commitment to protect the health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, and personnel. The plan aims to provide opportunities to continue education even in these trying times with a BELCP in place, supported by an unprecedented number of diverse stakeholders from the academe, media, industry groups, NGOs, business and private individuals. Sulong Edukalidad will be able to sustain the aims in its reform for quality basic education. In our journey towards quality education, we have established the 4 pillars of aggressive reforms from the start, and we have been continuing to progress in these pillars. In improving the learning environment, we took action in the construction and rehabilitation of school buildings, ensured the availability of learning materials and equipment, and prioritized our last mile schools. The challenges of the pandemic also brought to light the urgent need to upgrade our ICT infrastructure to service the needs of education. In terms of the teachers' upskilling and reskilling, we were able to establish more innovative professional standards for teachers and school heads. We have aligned the professional development of teachers with their career progression to track their development as part of the National Educators Academy of the Philippines transformation. With the launch of the Education Futures program, where we will be focusing on innovative actions and solutions to improve the state of our education, we are now more than ready to start a new journey and continue our fight for quality education for all Filipino learners. Finally, we've given high importance to the engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration. In support of this, we have convened the Philippine Forum for Accessible Quality Basic Education, or the Education Forum, which will leverage other partnerships for education quality and strengthen partnership with the Philippine Normal University as the country's national center for teacher education. The department has also been developing a professional development program for teachers and school leaders in order to equip them with the skills, materials, and data that will allow them to help their students prepare for PISA 2022. This intervention consists of the following components: online training for teachers and school leaders, development of learning materials and practice tests for students, deepening the analysis of the PISA 2018 results, and supporting school-level action research. Now that the year is about to end, our commitment to Sulong Edukalidad will continue and will be far from being gone. With a lot at stake, considering our new knowledge and experience from this year's challenges, we are equipped to face a new future. As we head on to the future where we will face many challenges and uncertainties, the department will always be the guardian of every Filipino learner's right to education.
Sino ba ang hindi naapektuhan? Sino ba ang hindi nag-alala? Sino ba ang hindi nalito? Lahat tayo ay naapektuhan. Lahat tayo ay nag-aalala. Lahat tayo ay nalito. Dahil binago ng pandemyang dulot ng COVID-19 ang paraan ng pamumuhay ng lahat ng mga Pilipino saan mang sektor ka nabibilang. Tumigil ang panandalian ang ating mga nakagawian. Tumigil ang lahat ng uri ng transaksyon. Tumigil ang lahat ng operasyon ng mga paaralan. Nakalilito. Nakakakaba. Paano na ang kinabukasan ng mga kabataan? Paano na tayo sa hinaharap? Opisyal na nilulunsad ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon sa pangunguna ng Office of the Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction ang DepEd Teaches. Ito ay isang online na programa na gagabay sa mga guro, tagapangasiwa, magulang at mag-aaral hinggil sa mga pagbabago sa batayang edukasyon ngayong new normal. Ang DepEd Teaches ay angkla sa sulong edukalidad na nakatuon sa apat na pangunahing pangangailangan ng mapunyaging reforma tungo sa makalidad na pagtuturo at pagkatuto. Una, pagre-review at pagsasapanahon ng kurikulum ng K-12. Ikalawa, pagpapaunlad ng kapaligiran pampagkatuto. Ikatlo, paglinang ng mga bagong kasanayan sa mga guro. At ang ikaapat, ang pakikipag-ugnay sa mga stakeholder para sa suporta at kolaborasyon. Sa pamamagitan ng virtual learning platform, ang DepEd Teaches ang magsisilbing bukas na komunidad ng pagsasanay na titipon sa mga guro, tagapamunong pang-edukasyon at sa sinumang may pagnanais sa pagtataguyod ng kalidad na edukasyon sa bansa at sa pagtagumpay ng bawat Pilipinong mag-aaral. Ang mga opisyal, education specialist, learning content expert at outstanding teacher ng DepEd ang magiging tagapanayam na magbabahagi ng kanilang kaalaman at kasanayan sa kurikulum, pagtuturo at pagkatuto, pagtataya at lahat ng kaugnay na mahalaga sa proseso ng pagtuturo at pagkatuto sa new normal. Bilang mga frontliner ng classroom, inaasahang magiging aktibo ang mga guro sa programang ito. Ang mga tema at paksa ay angkop sa kanilang pangangailangan at konteksto sa pamamagitan ng accessible na platform, ang social media. Sumali na sa OUCI family sa DepEd Teaches, kung sama-sama mapahuhusay pa ang mga guro, kung sama-sama higit na malilinang natin ang mga mag-aaral.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of DepEd Teaches. We have received numerous positive feedback through our DepEd Teaches FB account, and with that, thank you so much to all our loyal viewers, and we hope we will be able to sustain the momentum. So please keep on supporting our official Facebook page. So far, we have around 1.6 thousand followers in DepEd Teaches. And again, we continuously invite everyone to follow, like, and share DepEd Teaches. Hello, Miss Anna. Good afternoon. What do you think about our stats in our FB page, DepEd Teaches?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Sir July. So it's nice to see you again, our dear teachers. So, Sir July, you were asking about the stats of our Facebook page. Well, it's quite ironic because we have thousands of viewers and they really did an amazing job in passing the evaluation in the previous episodes under the theme K-12 Curriculum and Planning. However, it seems others have not yet followed and liked our new official Facebook page, DepEd Teaches. Perhaps it will be a good idea to us and test our viewers if you have really joined our new page. So to our live audience right now, please type in the comment box, what is the latest post you can see in our Facebook page? What is the latest post you can see in our Facebook page? And what is the dominant color used in that announcement?
So again, what is the latest post that you can see in our Facebook page, and what is the dominant color being used in the announcement there. Perhaps at the end of the episode, we will have more members in our Facebook page, DepEd Teaches. And so don't forget to share this to your friends and colleagues. Let us help each other to continue learning and sharing resources that promotes positivity and growth mindset. So Miss Anna, let's try again to test our viewers' memory. Let us ask our viewers if they can still recall the theme of our previous episodes. To our viewers, what was our previous theme in episodes 5, 6, and 7? So we invite you to type in your answer in the comment box. And don't forget the hashtag DepEd Teaches.
Again, what was our theme for the past 3 episodes, 5, 6, 7? Let's see who among you have exceptional memory. All right. So we were able to address some pressing concerns in K-12 curriculum and planning. I hope you got it correctly. And this time, we want to delve deeper. As we move forward, we can have a holistic perspective in teaching and learning to cater to all type of learners. Yes, you heard it right. We want to cater to all type of learners. And so for episodes 8, 9, and 10, our theme is the learner and his learning environment. Sir July, what do you think about our theme?
What I think about the theme, the learners and his learning environment, perhaps in our curriculum, we highlight learner-centered approach because every decision that we make is really focused on the needs, abilities, interest, and profile of our learners. And ultimately, we want our learners to be self-regulated, autonomous, and independent with consideration on their environment.
I agree with you, Sir July. So every decision we make, especially as teachers, it is always about for the best interest of our learners, and we must ponder on how their behavior and performance are influenced by their peers, teachers, resources, and other related factors in their environment. So this is just the tip of the iceberg about the learner and his learning environment. We will learn more about this if you stay tuned only here in DepEd Teaches.
Absolutely right, Miss Anna. So this time, while waiting for our viewers to join us in this presentation, in this episode, let us have another stimulating activity. So our dear viewers, a very simple instruction. We will flash question and please give us your answer in the comment section in our Facebook page. And hopefully at the end of the episode, we will try to read random answers. So are you ready? So can we have our first picture? So we are now showing our first picture and the question there is, what are the two concepts being highlighted in the picture, or what two big ideas can be inferred from the picture? So we're giving our viewers 20 seconds to type in your answer in the comment box or section of our FB page. So again, what two big ideas can be inferred from this picture?
All right. So for the next question, based on the concepts you identified, what strategy do you use to achieve and ensure education for all? Let's show them the picture and the question. What strategy do you use to achieve and ensure learning for all or education for all? Again, we give you 20 seconds to quickly type in the strategy that you use to address all of your learners' needs and abilities. Okay, so perhaps this time you have an idea already of what we will be learning today from our invited resource person. Remember, our goal is to provide quality education for all learners, regardless of their capacities, abilities, and nature.
To talk about understanding the needs and the teaching strategies for learners with different special needs. Please welcome the indefatigable and dynamic Regional Director of Region 6 Western Visayas, Director Maria Gemma M. Ledesma, and let us all give her a virtual round of applause.
Maayong adlaw. Good day to the viewers. Welcome to the 8th episode of DepEd Teaches, which highlights the strategies for teaching learners with special educational needs, its implications for inclusive, sustainable approach during and beyond COVID-19 crisis. The department caters to diversity, from the top management to the field personnel and to the learners, as shown in this illustration on diversity. How diverse are the individual learners and how we respond to involve them, especially in education, so that no child will be left behind. Our response to the needs of the learners is best represented by the illustrations. Allow me to read an excerpt from the book Hanging on a Special Educator's Journey into Inclusive Education. Once upon a time, we were children. Then, disability defined us, diagnosis classified us, school separated us, teachers divided us. We are beset by the biggest barriers to inclusive education, such as attitudes, physical barriers, curriculum, teachers, funding, expectations, and organization of the education system. The Global Education Timeline for 1990 highlights education for all. In the year 2000, it reaffirms the same commitment to education for all. For the year 2015, the global community shall provide quality education and lifelong learning towards Education 2030, which envisions to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all. These are the global goals, in which goal number 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, to all types of learners, including those with special needs. These are some of the issuances which serve as a guidepost in searching for all school-aged children and bring them to school to learn. First, we have DO 26, series of 1997, institutionalization of SPED programs in all schools. DO 72, series of 2009, inclusive education, a strategy for increasing participation rate of children. Then we have RA 10533, or the 2013 Enhanced Basic Education Act. DO 42, series of 2017, the national adoption and implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, DO21 Series of 2019, Policy Guidelines on the K-12 Basic Education Program, and DO21 Series of 2020, the Policy Guidelines on the Adoption of the K-12 Transition Curriculum Framework for Learners with Disabilities. Here are some strategies for learners with special needs within the context of COVID-19 crisis. Addressing barriers to education and relevant resources. First, assessing accommodations. Educators, parents, and individual students assess each student's situation and discuss adjustments needed for remote learning. Some examples include using alternatives to print, such as audio or other formats in instruction, as well as pictures, flexible scheduling and deadlines, and assistive technology. Adjustments and provisions for alternative resources were based on the careful assessments of each learner's needs and context. Second, modifying the curricula and instruction. Learning in a remote setting may differ from mainstream, classroom-based environments. This includes expectations for students and course methodology. Remember, in the K-12 program, we have curriculum for interest programs and for the inclusive programs like the iPad, the SPED, with their own set of competencies tailored to the different learner variations as contained in the most essential learning competencies per grade level, per learning area. Third, utilizing universal design for learning, or what we call the UDL. UDL aims to help teachers reach a wide variety of students, focusing on how students learn and demonstrate knowledge. This design provides multiple means of engagement, the why of learning, representation, the what of learning, and action and expression, the how of learning, in different areas such as access, build, and internalize, with the goal to produce learners who are purposeful and motivated, resourceful, knowledgeable, strategic, and goal-oriented, specifically those children with special needs. The next strategy is number 4, implementing project-based learning. Studies show that students with disabilities learn more by using research and analysis to complete a project. Project-based learning also improves self-esteem and promotes positive engagement. This strategy develops active engagement in learning with focus on exploring and solving real-life problems. Number 5, ensuring individualized education program, or the IEP. IEP requires that educators, students, parents, and families work together to decide on the effectiveness of a remote learning setting and how to best proceed with its students' education. The learner may opt to change the learning strategies or modalities within the year to suit to his or her context and learning needs. Next, number 6, supporting teachers. As schools transition to online learning during the COVID-19 crisis, it is important to provide teachers with guidance and relevant and evidence-based resources on how to deliver lessons in remote and online settings in special education. As frontliners in the delivery of education, technological, financial, and psychosocial support are important for teachers. 7, providing family and caregiver support. Systemic approaches are necessary to help parents and caregivers with both their domestic responsibilities and students' education. Schools capacitated the parents and learning facilitators how to assist their children in implementing the learning activities. Collective responsibility. Let's take a look at the illustration. To address these barriers, we need collective responsibility. Yes, the synergy of the students, regular and SPED teachers, parents is a key element in ensuring the success of the program. Every member of the team takes a chunk of responsibility and accountability in the program. Working with learners who have special educational needs post-pandemic and beyond is one of our missions. As a professional teacher, you may have many important roles to fulfill. Let's take a look at this one, such as appreciation of individual differences. Each child has special qualities which make him or her different from every other child. Educators should develop positive attitude about individual differences in children. Such attitude help educators serve as role models for children in their care. Educators should be aware of their own biases and feelings about children with disabilities or gifted children. Arranging the environment. Rooms should be arranged so that children can move around freely and have easy access to all areas used. There should be a large open area for group activities and large muscle play. Several small areas should be planned for learning centers, small group activities or private, quiet activities. Avoid rearranging rooms, especially when children have physical or visual disabilities. On assessment, assessment involves a detailed evaluation of a child's growth and development. So professionals determine the child's areas of strengths and weaknesses and may be able to diagnose certain disabilities. Several professionals may participate in the assessment depending on the child's needs. Educators can assist children with special needs by giving them individualized care. Such care should be based on a professional assessment and recommendation. Encouraging cooperation. Promote positive interactions by providing materials and learning experiences which encourage cooperation. Such materials as blocks, dramatic play props, and table games encourage children to play together. Plan learning experiences that give children a chance to interact positively. Encouraging independence. Independent living is a major lifetime goal of children with disabilities. Educators may be tempted to perform tasks for children with disabilities but should avoid these temptations. Children with disabilities shall be allowed to perform everyday tasks that they can do for themselves. This accomplishment builds self-confidence and gives a sense of independence to these children. Children can learn to take care for their own needs through the new and repeated experiences. The next role of teachers is encouraging positive interactions. There are many benefits when all children with and without special needs are educated and cared for together. Positive group interactions do not happen automatically. Educators must work to encourage positive group interactions, plan and follow a well-balanced daily schedule to allow time for positive interactions. Next, we have mainstreaming or inclusion. Mainstreaming is the process of placing individuals with disabilities into the general education or community environment. In mainstreaming, as in partial inclusion, an individual with a disabilities home classroom is a special education classroom. However, students who are mainstreamed will spend most of their day learning side by side with their general education peers. In mainstreaming, the students are usually expected to keep up with the rest of their peers without significant supplementary aids and support services. This support and values having individuals with disabilities interact with students without any disabilities. Inclusion is a philosophy that states all individuals, regardless of ability, should participate within the same environment with necessary support and individualized attention. Children need caring adults to provide love, security, safety, and a positive environment. They need good surroundings to stimulate and support for their development. Next, we have schedule a planning. The daily schedule may need to be more structured than usual for children with special needs. Much unstructured playtime may be difficult for such children. During a scheduled free choice time, limit the number of choices given and spend a few minutes directing the child in a specific activity. Remember, a well-balanced schedule should include carefully planned transition activities. Check on the child's status in terms of task completion. If needed, delay the transition or remind the child in advance that an activity period is ending. Strategies for optimizing the development of learners with special educational needs in the elementary and junior to senior high school. The presentation. Is there a problem with the way in which the students see, hear, or read the lesson? Allow students to access information in ways that do not require them to visually read standard print. These alternate modes of access are auditory, multisensory, tactile, and visual. Example of presentation accommodations include presenting instructions orally, providing a designated reader. Let's go to response. Does the student have problems manipulating items? Or is there something that may pose a problem with the student due to the way in which a response is required? If possible, change the response. By changing the response, you can allow students to complete activities, assignments, and assessments in different ways or to solve or organize problems using some type of assistive device or organizer. Let's take a look at the setting. If the student has a problem focusing on work, when there are a large number of students in the class, this may be a possible choice. These students can be easily distracted by others or have behaviors that are distracting to others. Change the location in which a test or assignment is given or the condition of the assessment setting. By administering a test in private room or alternative test site, or administering a test in small group setting. For timing and scheduling, increase the allowable length of time to complete an assessment or assignment, and perhaps change the way that time is organized. Timing, there should be allowing frequent breaks or extending allotted schedule or time for a test. For scheduling, administering a test in several timed sessions or for over several days, allowing subtests to be taken in a different order, and administering a test at a specific day or time of day. Let's go to the teacher training or professional development. Provide inclusive education strategies based on good teaching and learning practices, such as classroom observation tool. We enrich and adapt teaching strategies for learners with different readiness to learn and with diverse educational needs. Ensure that all teachers receive initial training on inclusive education during pre-service teacher education and in service or inset employment. Receive training of teachers in awareness, attitudinal barriers, and child protection risks for sexual and gender minorities, PPST domain number 3. Okay, that's PPST again, domain number 3. And make continuous professional development available to teachers on inclusive education. Let's take a look at the role of school leaders and administrators. What should they do? They should ensure a welcoming school culture and learning environment for all school children. Ensure that leaders are trained regarding their responsibilities for enhancing the inclusion of all learners, including learners with disabilities, and removing barriers to their inclusion. Ensure that leaders support teachers in enriching or adapting their strategies to learners with different readiness to learn, and increase the readiness of leaders to engage with the community in supporting school and home collaboration. Let's have the principles of equitable collaboration. This is weaving together families and educators. The school needs to establish a system for collaboration and connection with the family and the community. The roles of parents at home and the school have to be carefully planned out and cascaded to everybody involved in the educative process. After a clear synergy of roles, critical assessment of the internal and external factors must be established, of course, in order to facilitate strong school-home community partnership and collaboration. According to Noman Ashraf, Assistant Professor for University of Toronto, on Emancipatory Leadership webinar in 2020, School of Becoming, the behavior that we walk past is the culture that we enable. The successful implementation of the strategies and approaches of the past become a rich source of building the culture of excellence. Let's take a look at this caricature. Clearing a path for people with special needs clears the path for everyone. Well, that's nice. Clearing the path for people with special needs clears the path for everyone. Remember the use of telephones? These are enjoyed by persons without hearing difficulties. Technological innovation and inventions happen to address the needs of people with hearing difficulty. The birth of the text messaging specifically designed for them, but now it's not only the hearing impaired that benefit, but it's all of us. Look at these pens, colored pens. According to Norman Conk, when inclusive education is fully embraced, we abandon the idea that children have to become normal in order to contribute to the world. We begin to look beyond typical ways of becoming valued members of the community, and in doing so, begin to realize the achievable goal of providing all children with an authentic sense of belonging. The learner's greatest emotional and psychosocial need boils down on their sense of belongingness. This sense of belongingness gives value to them as learners with special needs. Let's have this one. Vision plus knowledge plus skills plus incentives plus resources plus action plan, according to Noster in 2000, is change. Change is permanent, be it slow or fast. As a school head, educational leader, policymaker, according to Noster, if we have the vision plus knowledge plus skills plus incentives plus resources plus action plan, we will have change. The absence of one would cause unhealthy organization situation. Without a vision would lead to confusion. Without knowledge would result to ignorance. Without skills would trigger anxiety. Without incentives would spark resistance. Without resources would cause frustration. Without action plan, start treadmill. There must be completeness of all the essential components. Thus, we can say The future of the Philippines is in my classroom now. Thank you very much and malipayon nga adlaw sa inyo tanan. We would like to acknowledge Frank John Imboltura, Special Inclusive Education Professor and Specialist, College of Liberal Arts, Sciences and Education of the University of San Agustin, Iloilo City. Sa liwat, madamo nga salamat and malipayon nga adlaw sa inyo tanan.
Thank you so much, Director Ledesma, for a wonderful and visually appealing presentation. We have learned so much on what we can do as teachers, especially in this time, to address the needs of our learners in difficult circumstances. As proven, DepEd caters to all types of learners, and we ensure that education is really for all. Now, let us read some of the comments from our viewers who answered our questions a while ago. For the picture that we had earlier, the acceptable answer for picture number 1 is equality and equity depicted in picture 1 and its corresponding question. May I read some answers in our FB page? From Ma'am Debbie Reynante and Ma'am Nerissa Esteban, they mentioned about equality and education, which is partially correct. Also, from another viewer, Ma'am Glorfern Ignacio, she mentioned correctly about equity and equality. Ma'am Anna, do you have any other comments to read?
Thank you so much, Sir July. And again, thank you so much to our speaker, Regional Director Ledesma. That was another powerful presentation. So going back to the second question about what strategy they use to ensure learning for all, most of our viewers said differentiated instruction. But in today's episode, I'm pretty sure we've learned other strategies to accommodate and address the needs of our learners. So I hope our teachers will apply these strategies to improve instruction for all type of learners. So again, thank you so much to our active viewers. We love to hear more insights from you. Just use the hashtag I support DepEd Teaches, hashtag DepEd Teaches episode 8. You can also share your selfie post while you were watching in today's presentation. So before we end, we just have some announcement. For episodes 8 to 10, we will only have a single registration, and our evaluation will be on the 10th, in which questions will come from episodes 8, 9, and 10. So you must watch all episodes so you can pass the evaluation and receive your certificates. Again, there's only one evaluation and one registration for the theme, the learner and his learning environment. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do really appreciate that you have included DepEd Teaches in your weekly calendar of activities. We hope to see you again next week.
On behalf of the curriculum and instruction strand, I hope it has been another productive session with all of us. Let us work together and move forward as we actualize DepEd Teaches' mission of empowering teachers and enabling learners. A blessed afternoon, everyone.